The first official trailer for director Bryan Singer's X-Men Apocalypse has finally arrived. The movie sees the return of James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender, Nicholas Hoult, Evan Peters, Rose Byrne, and Lucas Till. New to the franchise are Tye Sheridan, Olivia Munn, Alexandra Shipp, Sophie Turner, Ben Hardy, Lana Condor, and Oscar Isaac as the main villain, Apocalypse. This past July, both a Comic-Con only trailer and official photos released in Entertainment Weekly were met with much derision, mostly due to the appearance of Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse hits theaters next year on May 27th, 2016. Dennis, what do you think of the trailer, and does it help alleviate some of the concerns surrounding the look of Apocalypse?
I like the trailer. I'm not blown away by anything, but it does one really important thing, which is kind of stop the bleeding from all the ridicule the original photos that came out, and I saw the Comic-Con trailer. You were there at Comic-Con as well.
I was there witnessing it. I was not familiar with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers villain at the time. I was watching that, and then after people did side-by-side photos, I was like everybody else, like, it kind of looks like it.
Yeah, I thought it kind of looked like a cross between Mr. Freeze and that Ivan Ooze Power Rangers. But I think what this does, it makes fans less nervous about this movie by showing off he looks less purple. They make him a lighter shade of blue. There's actually a shot in the trailer that has him in a huge size. I think it's funny because it's actually not that different from what we saw at Comic-Con. The voiceover is very similar. The tone of it's very similar. They just added obviously a better looking Apocalypse, but they also added some other shots in there. You saw like Archangel, you saw Quicksilver in there, Nightcrawler as well. What did you think, Mark?
I loved watching this trailer. I got so excited to see this movie. From the way it opens with Sansa Stark, Sophie Turner, she's new to the cast and she looks great as a younger Jean Grey. Everything about the trailer story-wise made sense to me. I love that this is going to be the biggest battle that these mutants have ever fought, and the way they build up the character of Apocalypse, how he's this biblical, almost mythical figure that has come back to wreak havoc. My favorite line in the trailer is when Rose Byrne is talking about with James McAvoy, and he's like, oh wait, it's kind of like the Bible, where, you know, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and then she's like, well, maybe they based the Bible off of this dude. And I went, oh my God, that sounds awesome. As far as the look of Apocalypse goes, I was nervous the first minute and a half watching the trailer because it looked like they were trying to hide him. And I didn't want them, this is how the character looks, go ahead and show him to us. And then towards the end of the trailer, we got some more full view shots of him, that one shot of looking up at Apocalypse, and you're right, when he gets big, it looked very impressive. So I never hated the look of the character. Again, I wasn't that familiar with the Power Rangers before I saw this trailer, so to me, I've always been on board with this movie, and this trailer sold me even more.
Christian?
I didn't love the trailer and at all.
I tried so hard.
I know it's good. Yes, for me, I love the story. I thought this story. I agree with you. They set it up well, but I disagree with both of you guys. I think that they hid Apocalypse the whole entire time. I don't think that it's going to. Anybody who had problems or was nervous about him before, I think they're still going to be nervous about him because they didn't show him enough to say, okay, his voice sounded fine. I liked his voice. I like that shot you're talking about, Dennis, to where he's bigger and they're kind of showing how powerful he is. But I think that they were so nervous from the backlash that they got from him. He's not in full shot speaking. You don't really see him appearing as a full-fledged villain. The other newer characters, it's fine. We'll see them, and once I'm still very excited about the movie. I think the movie's gonna be great. I was expecting this big, epic trailer for the movie that just has to follow Days of Future Past, and for the movie that's following Days of Future Past, I didn't love it.
But let me ask you gents, this is because, like, let's pretend we don't live in an internet age and social media when everybody can see a clip of something and immediately start bashing it and it gets in our heads. If this was the first thing you'd seen of Apocalypse, and for most people who weren't at Comic-Con, this should have been the first thing you saw, would you feel like they're trying to hide a villain, or they're just making him mysterious in a cool way?
I think it's maybe making him mysterious, but I think there's a reason why we don't see
That's
Apocalypse,
what I'm saying, yeah.
Because I think they never intended to make him look like the way he does now. I think, remember, they had that Comic-Con trailer, right? Only a select few people got to see it. Then they released that EW photos. Those were full-on shots of Apocalypse, and he didn't look anything like this. He looked totally different. And I think the backlash from that, they're like, oh, wait, we need to fix this thing. And I think the reason why we don't see so much of him in this trailer
They're still fixing
yeah,
it.
exactly. This is not planned. They didn't go around and go, oh, yeah, this is how he always was going to look. No, they heard from fans.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's the question that Mark has on the table. If this was the first thing we've ever seen of him, and it looked like they were strategically saying he's in the shadows, then of course I'd be excited about that. But that's clearly not the reason. It's because, everyone hates this. It's like when Bryan Singer worked on Superman Returns, and he's like, oh, people are going to love this Superman suit, and they hated it. And then it was like, but back then it was a little different to where how much internet exposure stuff was getting. And with this movie, I just wanted so much more. I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it, and I'm still very excited about the movie.
Yeah, and I acknowledge that I'm in the very tiny minority where I never had a problem with the way Apocalypse looked from the start, but I think the lesson we've learned here is that never let Entertainment Weekly shoot your movie when it's in production.
Man.
They just don't do a good job with it.
They did good with Star Wars, though.
Anything does good with Star Wars. Did you see the Terminator Jenny Smith picks?
You're right.
I did have a problem with the original look of it. He did.
Right. I remember you having the problem.
He didn't look like menacing or intimidating at all, and they totally put him in the cover of Entertainment Weekly, so they weren't trying to hide it. Now they're like realizing, okay, we have to fix this. And yeah, I think the next trailer we'll see sometime next year will have more of Apocalypse because they will have worked on it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
You know what I'm actually most nervous about, though, and I mentioned this a long time ago, was the mind control aspect of the storyline. I don't like mind control when it comes to stories because it doesn't give any motivation for characters, right? So if you see Magneto and some of the other characters that decide to follow Apocalypse, they're not doing it out of their own free will.
Right.
They're doing it because they're being mind controlled, and that to me just. It's not intriguing.
But even a mind-controlled Magneto looks like, that was one of my favorite parts of the trailer too. Is seeing Michael Fassbender, where he just looks like, man, I'm a powerful mutant, and even I am having trouble reconciling what's happening.
I think
right
that's the thing that I enjoyed about it. That's all. The other thing I really enjoyed was finally seeing McAvoy as bald Professor X. That was cool too.
That was a great.
That was pretty
final
awesome.
shot.
But I think that normally I agree with you, where it's like they're not doing it on their own free will. But we've seen Magneto so many different times doing this and going off and saying, oh, I'm not listening to you guys, I'm going to go off and do my own thing. And we also, from the events of what happened in Days of Future Past, I also want to know, does he get broken out? Like what happens? How many times they can break this guy out of prison?
Have they moved RFK Stadium back to where it rested?
Right, but I think that this mind control thing I don't know, it might work for Apocalypse, but I know where you're coming from.
And how did you guys like Archangel?
I thought the look of Archangel was phenomenal. And again, we didn't get to see that much of that either, but the tease of it was great. The big issue I have with this trailer might be because this is the one that's going to be attached to The Force Awakens when it opens, so you're going to have a packed theater opening weekend, the second weekend for Christmas, and everybody's seeing the look of Apocalypse towards the end for the first time. Will he get booed?
No.
I hope not.
No, it's too short. It's too short to get booed.
Not only that, I think this is a massissive improvement over the last one. Maybe the other one would have got booed.
You know what I thought was an improvement? Because I think we all sold the look of it. I thought Nightcrawler looked cool. I thought because with the pictures they showed of Nightcrawler, I think it was an Entertainment Weekly, also looked like bad cosplay, and the way that it transferred over in the trailer, I thought looked good.
Okay. All right.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.